Before she became the iconic Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner was just a little girl named Anna Mae Bullock. She was born on November 26, 1939, in Nutbush, Tennessee, a tiny rural town that you might miss if you blinked while driving through it. Nutbush was surrounded by vast cotton fields, dirt roads, and modest wooden houses. It was a quiet, humble place, far removed from the bright lights and roaring crowds that would one day define her life. Anna Mae grew up in a family that faced its fair share of challenges. Her parents, Zelma and Floyd Bullock, worked as sharecroppers, toiling endlessly in the fields to make ends meet. Life was tough, and the Bullock household wasn't always a happy one. Floyd and Zelma had a rocky relationship filled with arguments and tension. When Anna Mae was just a child, her parents separated. This forced her and her older sister, Aline, to move in with their grandmother, Georgiana Curry. Living with her grandmother brought some stability to Anna Mae's life. Georgiana was a strong, independent woman who worked hard to raise her grandchildren. Despite the hardships, Anna Mae found joy in the little things. She would often run barefoot through the fields, her laughter echoing across the open land. But what stood out most about her even then was her love for singing. She had a voice that could captivate anyone who heard it. At church, her powerful voice would rise above the rest, filling the room with emotion and soul. Even as a young girl, Anna Mae seemed destined for something bigger. But life in Nutbush wasn't without its challenges. Racism and poverty were part of the reality Anna Mae faced every day. The community was segregated, and opportunities for black families were limited. Still, Anna Mae's spirit remained unbroken. She was a fiery, energetic child who wasn't afraid to stand out. Whether it was helping her grandmother with chores or singing to herself while working in the fields, she carried a spark of resilience that would later define her. When Anna Mae was a teenager, tragedy struck. Her grandmother, who had been her rock, passed away. At just 16 years old, Anna Mae had to leave the comfort of Nutbush and move to St. Louis, Missouri, to live with her mother. St. Louis was a completely different world. It was a bustling city, alive with jazz, blues, and a vibrant nightlife. For a girl who had spent her life in a small rural town, the energy of St. Louis was overwhelming, but also exhilarating. In St. Louis, Anna Mae began to explore her love for music even further. She and her sister Aline would sneak out to nightclubs, where they were drawn to the electrifying sounds of live bands. These clubs were filled with people dancing, laughing, and living in the moment. It was in one of these clubs that Anna Mae first saw Ike Turner, a talented musician whose band, the Kings of Rhythm, was creating a buzz in the local music scene. Little did Anna Mae know, this chance encounter would change her life forever. But at this point, she was just a wide-eyed teenager with a dream. She hadn't yet become Tina Turner, the global superstar. She was still Anna Mae Bullock, a girl from Nutbush, Tennessee, with a powerful voice and an unshakable determination to rise above her circumstances. St. Louis in the 1950s was a city brimming with energy and possibility, especially for music lovers. Blues and jazz poured out of clubs and bars, creating an electric atmosphere that pulled Anna Mae closer to her destiny. She and her sister Aline quickly became regulars at the Manhattan Club, one of the city's most popular venues. The first time Anna Mae saw Ike Turner and his band, the Kings of Rhythm, perform there, she was mesmerized. Ike's music was raw, rhythmic, and full of life. The energy in the room was infectious, and Anna Mae couldn't help but imagine herself up on that stage. Anna Mae wasn't planning to become a singer that night, but fate often works in mysterious ways. During one of the band's breaks, she mustered up the courage to approach Ike. In her hands, she held nothing more than a dream, but her confidence shone through. She asked Ike if she could sing, but he brushed her off. He'd heard many aspiring singers before, and he didn't think much of her request. But Anna Mae wasn't the kind of girl to give up easily. She grabbed the microphone one night while Ike was taking a break, and she started singing "You Know I Love You," a B.B. King song. Her voice was powerful, soulful, and unlike anything Ike had ever heard. It stopped everyone in their tracks, including Ike. He was impressed, and Ike Turner wasn't easily impressed. From that moment, Anna Mae Bullock's life began to change. Ike saw something in her, a spark, a raw talent that he believed could take his music to the next level. He invited Anna Mae to join his band, and she didn't hesitate. She was thrilled at the opportunity to sing with professional musicians and to finally step out of the audience and onto the stage. Singing with the Kings of Rhythm wasn't glamorous, though. Anna Mae worked hard, learning to harmonize, control her voice, and move with the music. Ike was a demanding leader, and he expected nothing less than perfection. But Anna Mae thrived under the pressure. She loved the thrill of performing, the applause of the audience, and the feeling of belonging to something bigger than herself. The turning point came when Ike wrote a song called "A Fool in Love." Originally intended for another vocalist, the song ended up in Anna Mae's hands when the singer failed to show up for the recording session. With no time to waste, Ike asked Anna Mae to step in and sing it. Her performance was so electrifying that Ike decided to release it as a single, and "A Fool in Love" quickly became a hit. It wasn't just a hit, it was a sensation. Anna Mae's voice was unlike anything people had heard before. It was both raw and polished, filled with emotion and power. The success of the song catapulted the band into the spotlight, and Anna Mae was suddenly no longer just another singer. She was becoming the star. As the band's popularity grew, Ike made a decision that would alter Anna Mae's life forever. He gave her a new stage name, Tina Turner. Ike wanted her name to stand out, to have a brand that people wouldn't forget. Tina didn't have much say in the matter, but she embraced her new identity with the same determination that had carried her this far. She was ready for whatever came next. With "A Fool in Love" climbing the charts, Ike and Tina Turner became a force to be reckoned with in the music industry. Their partnership wasn't just about music. It was a carefully crafted dynamic that played on their chemistry both on and off the stage. Ike was the band leader, a mastermind behind the music, while Tina was the electrifying performer who captivated audiences with her voice and energy. Together, they created a sound and style that was impossible to ignore. But this wasn't an overnight transformation. Building the Ike and Tina Turner Revue took hard work, countless hours of rehearsals, and a relentless touring schedule. Ike was determined to make them the best act in show business, and he pushed Tina and the band to their limits. They performed night after night in clubs, theaters, and anywhere that would have them, often traveling long hours to make it to the next gig. Tina's stage presence was magnetic. She had a way of connecting with the audience that few performers could match. She danced with a fire that seemed unstoppable, her moves as bold and expressive as her voice. Audiences couldn't take their eyes off her, and her natural charisma made her the undeniable star of the show. Their early shows were raw, high-energy performances that blended R&B, soul, and rock and roll. Ike, a skilled guitarist and arranger, made sure the music was tight and dynamic. Hits like "It's Gonna Work Out Fine" and "I Idolize You" showcased Tina's powerhouse vocals and Ike's ability to craft unforgettable tunes. But their success wasn't just about music, it was about the image they projected. Ike carefully controlled every aspect of their act, from the choreography to the costumes. Tina became known for her bold, flashy outfits and her fearless attitude on stage. She was strong, sexy, and confident, embodying a new kind of female performer who wasn't afraid to command attention. As their fame grew, so did the demands of the industry. They started touring internationally, bringing their music to audiences around the world. In 1966, they released River Deep, Mountain High, a collaboration with legendary producer Phil Spector. Although it wasn't initially a commercial success in the United States, the song became a hit in Europe and is now considered one of their most iconic recordings. The Ike and Tina Turner Revue became a phenomenon, breaking barriers and redefining what live performances could be. They were one of the first acts to bring rock and roll energy into R&B shows, and their influence spread across genres. But behind the bright lights and roaring applause, cracks were beginning to form. Ike's controlling nature and the pressure of constant touring began to take a toll on Tina. Yet, at this stage of her career, she was focused on the music, determined to give her all to the audiences who came to see her perform. As Ike and Tina Turner continued to gain fame, one thing became undeniably clear. Tina Turner wasn't just another singer. She was a performer like no other. From the moment she stepped on stage, she commanded attention. It wasn't just her voice, though her powerful, soulful tone was unforgettable. It was the way she moved, the way she connected with her audience, and the fire she brought to every performance. Tina's style was bold, energetic, and completely her own. She didn't just sing, she lived every song she performed. Her voice could go from a deep, raspy growl to soaring, passionate high notes, carrying a raw emotion that made people feel every word. Whether it was a heart-wrenching ballad or an upbeat, high-energy number, Tina gave 110% every single time. But it wasn't just her voice that set her apart. Tina's dancing was electrifying. She moved with a wild, untamed energy that seemed to come straight from her soul. She would stomp, twist, and shimmy across the stage, her legs flashing in perfect rhythm with the music. Her choreography wasn't polished or predictable. It was raw and explosive, and it made every performance unforgettable. Her costumes became an essential part of her stage persona. Tina's outfits were daring, often featuring short fringed dresses that swayed with her every move. These costumes highlighted her athletic figure and accentuated her dance style, making her presence even more striking. She wasn't afraid to push boundaries, and her bold fashion choices became a signature part of her image. Tina's fearless attitude shone through in everything she did. She had a magnetic confidence that made people feel like she was performing just for them. She could lock eyes with someone in the audience and make them feel seen, even in a packed theater. It wasn't just about singing and dancing. It was about creating an experience that people would remember forever. What made Tina truly unique was her ability to blend strength and vulnerability. On stage, she was a force of nature, fierce and unstoppable. But she also had a way of conveying deep emotion, showing the softer side of her personality. This balance made her relatable to audiences, who could see both the powerhouse and the human behind the performance. Her style wasn't just groundbreaking for women, it was groundbreaking for anyone in music. She set a new standard for what a live performance could be, proving that energy, passion, and authenticity were just as important as vocal talent. Tina inspired countless artists who came after her, showing them that it was okay to be bold, to take risks, and to pour their whole heart into their art. Even in the early days of her career, Tina's performances were the stuff of legend. People who saw her live would talk about it for weeks, marveling at her energy and presence. Her unique style wasn't something she learned. It was something she had always carried within her, a part of who she was. By this point, Tina wasn't just a singer or a dancer. She was an icon in the making. Audiences couldn't get enough of her, and her influence was beginning to spread far beyond the stage. By the time Ike and Tina Turner became household names, their partnership seemed unstoppable. On stage, they were electric, a seamless blend of Ike's precise musical arrangements and Tina's explosive energy. But offstage, their relationship was far more complex and turbulent than anyone could have imagined. Ike was not only the leader of their band, but also the driving force behind their success. He had a sharp ear for music and a relentless determination to climb the ladder of fame. However, his controlling nature began to cast a shadow over their dynamic. He wasn't just a band leader, he was also Tina's manager, mentor, and eventually, her husband. This overlap of roles created a power imbalance that became increasingly toxic. Tina admired Ike's musical genius. He had an uncanny ability to craft songs that brought out the best in her voice, and she appreciated the opportunities he gave her. But his behavior behind the scenes was another story. Ike was demanding, often pushing Tina and the band to their limits. Rehearsals were grueling, and mistakes were not tolerated. This relentless pursuit of perfection, combined with Ike's volatile temper, created an atmosphere of fear and tension. As their fame grew, Ike's darker side became more apparent. He struggled with drug addiction, which only worsened his mood swings and controlling tendencies. He began isolating Tina from others, dictating what she could say, where she could go, and even how she should dress. For Tina, this was a difficult and confusing time. She loved performing and wanted to honor her commitment to the band, but she was increasingly trapped in a life that felt suffocating. Despite the difficulties, Tina remained professional. On stage, no one could tell that anything was wrong. She delivered electrifying performances night after night, pouring her heart into every song. Audiences saw a powerful, confident woman who seemed to have it all, but behind the scenes she was enduring emotional and physical abuse that she kept hidden from the world. The dynamic between Ike and Tina was complicated by the success they shared. Together, they were achieving incredible things: chart-topping hits, sold-out tours, and international recognition. Tina often felt that leaving Ike would mean abandoning everything they had worked for. She carried the weight of their success on her shoulders, believing that she had to endure for the sake of their careers. This chapter of Tina's life was marked by conflict, the dazzling highs of fame, and the devastating lows of her personal struggles. It was a period that shaped her resilience and inner strength, though she didn't fully realize it at the time. The Ike and Tina Turner Revue became one of the most sought-after acts of the 1960s and early 1970s. Their blend of R&B, soul, and rock and roll was unlike anything audiences had seen before. Tina's electrifying performances and Ike's sharp arrangements created a sound that was both powerful and unforgettable. Their live shows were legendary. Tina would burst onto the stage with unmatched energy, belting out hits like Proud Mary and A Fool in Love while dancing with an intensity that left audiences breathless. The backup singers, known as the Ikettes, added another layer of excitement with their synchronized dance moves and harmonies. It was a spectacle that set a new standard for live entertainment. The duo's success wasn't limited to the stage. They released a string of hit records, each one showcasing Tina's powerful voice and dynamic range. Songs like Nutbush City Limits and River Deep, Mountain High became instant classics, cementing their place in music history. One of their most iconic performances came in 1971 with their cover of Proud Mary. Tina's gritty, soulful delivery and high-energy choreography turned the song into a massive hit. It earned them a Grammy Award and became one of their signature pieces, loved by audiences around the world. But fame came at a cost. The grueling tour schedules, long hours in the recording studio, and constant pressure to deliver took a toll on everyone involved. For Tina, the weight of maintaining their public image while dealing with the turmoil in her personal life was overwhelming. Still, she pushed through, determined to give fans the best show possible. The Ike and Tina Turner Revue became a global phenomenon, performing in Europe, Asia, and beyond. They were breaking barriers, reaching audiences across racial and cultural lines. Tina's charisma and talent transcended boundaries, making her a star in every sense of the word. While their success brought wealth and recognition, it also magnified the cracks in their relationship. The more famous they became, the harder it was for Tina to ignore the pain she was experiencing behind the scenes. Yet for now, she kept going, pouring every ounce of herself into her performances and holding on to the hope that things might change. Behind the glitz and glamour of their public image, Tina Turner's life was far from perfect. While audiences saw a powerhouse performer who seemed invincible, the reality of her personal life was heartbreaking. The abuse she endured from Ike became more frequent and severe as time went on. Ike's controlling behavior extended to every aspect of Tina's life. He dictated what she wore, how she styled her hair, and even how she spoke in interviews. He used fear and manipulation to maintain control, ensuring that Tina felt trapped both personally and professionally. Tina's life was a cycle of highs and lows. The euphoria of performing in front of adoring crowds was often followed by nights of abuse and despair. She felt isolated, unable to share her struggles with anyone. In those days, there was little understanding or support for women experiencing domestic violence, especially in the entertainment industry. Despite the pain, Tina found solace in her music. Performing was her escape, a chance to channel her emotions into something powerful and transformative. Songs like I Can't Believe What You Say and Come Together took on new meaning for her as she used them to express what she couldn't say out loud. But the cracks in her relationship with Ike were becoming harder to hide. Friends and colleagues began to notice her bruises and the tension between them. Some tried to intervene, but Ike's temper and Tina's fear of retaliation kept them at bay. For Tina, the turning point came when she realized that staying with Ike could cost her everything, including her life. It wasn't just about the abuse. It was about reclaiming her identity and finding the strength to stand on her own. This chapter of Tina's life was one of survival. She endured unimaginable hardships, but never lost the spark that made her who she was. Her resilience and determination were beginning to take root, setting the stage for a transformation that would change her life forever. Tina Turner's decision to leave Ike Turner was one of the most defining moments of her life. After years of abuse, manipulation, and control, she reached her breaking point in 1976. The moment came during a tour in Dallas, Texas, after a violent altercation with Ike. For Tina, it wasn't just about the physical pain. It was the realization that she couldn't endure another day in that life. She waited until Ike was asleep, then quietly left their hotel room with nothing but a small bag, 36 cents in her pocket, and a credit card. It was a desperate move, but Tina was determined to escape. She ran across a busy highway to a nearby motel, where she pleaded with the manager for a room. She had no money to pay, but promised to find a way. Tina's decision to leave wasn't just an emotional one. It was a fight for survival. She knew that breaking away from Ike meant giving up everything they had built together. Ike controlled the finances, the contracts, and the name Ike and Tina Turner. Walking away meant starting over with nothing, but Tina was ready to take that risk. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of uncertainty. Tina found herself in courtrooms, battling for her freedom. She didn't want money or assets. All she wanted was her name, Tina Turner. That name, she believed, represented her identity and the hard work she had put into her career. For a while, she relied on friends and acquaintances to get by. She stayed in people's homes, performed in small venues, and worked tirelessly to rebuild her life. It was an uphill battle, but Tina's determination never wavered. She knew she had to reclaim her voice and her independence, no matter how long it took. This chapter marked the beginning of Tina's transformation. She had left behind a life of pain and fear, stepping into a world of uncertainty, but also newfound hope. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but Tina was ready to fight for her freedom and her future. Starting over was anything but glamorous for Tina Turner. After leaving Ike, she faced skepticism from the music industry. Many saw her as part of a duo, doubting whether she could succeed on her own. But Tina was determined to prove them wrong. In the late 1970s, she began performing in small clubs and lounges, a far cry from the sold-out arenas she had been used to. These performances weren't about fame or fortune. They were about survival. Tina poured her heart into every song, reconnecting with her passion for music and rediscovering her identity as an artist. One of Tina's first steps toward her comeback was connecting with new managers and collaborators who believed in her potential. In 1981, she met Roger Davies, an ambitious young manager who saw her as a star waiting to shine again. Under his guidance, Tina began crafting a new sound and image that reflected her individuality and resilience. Tina's big break as a solo artist came in 1983 with the release of her single Let's Stay Together, a cover of the Al Green classic. The song became an unexpected hit, reaching the top 10 in multiple countries. It was a turning point that proved Tina still had what it took to captivate audiences. Her newfound success paved the way for a record deal with Capitol Records and the release of her album Private Dancer in 1984. The album was a game changer. Songs like What's Love Got to Do With It, Better Be Good to Me, and the title track catapulted Tina to superstardom. What's Love Got to Do With It became a cultural phenomenon, earning Tina her first Grammy Award and solidifying her status as a solo icon. At 44 years old, an age when many artists were considered past their prime, Tina Turner was just getting started. Private Dancer wasn't just an album, it was a declaration. It was Tina Turner saying to the world, "I'm back, and I'm stronger than ever." Released in 1984, the album was a commercial and critical success, selling over 10 million copies worldwide and earning 4 Grammy Awards. The songs on Private Dancer showcased Tina's versatility and emotional depth. What's Love Got to Do With It was a sultry, soulful anthem that resonated with audiences everywhere. The song's lyrics, about a woman questioning love and vulnerability, struck a chord with listeners and became an instant classic. Other tracks like Better Be Good to Me and I Can't Stand the Rain highlighted Tina's ability to infuse every lyric with raw emotion. Her voice carried a grit and authenticity that made each song feel personal and real. The title track, Private Dancer, was haunting and introspective, adding another layer to the album's emotional range. What made Private Dancer so groundbreaking was the way it reintroduced Tina Turner to the world. It wasn't just a comeback, it was a reinvention. Tina wasn't trying to fit into the mold of a typical pop star. Instead, she embraced her maturity, her experiences, and her unique perspective, turning them into strengths. The success of Private Dancer catapulted Tina to a level of fame she had never experienced before. She was selling out arenas, gracing the covers of magazines, and becoming a symbol of resilience and reinvention. The album wasn't just music. It was a statement of empowerment that inspired millions. The success of Private Dancer transformed Tina Turner into a global phenomenon. Her powerful voice, magnetic stage presence, and inspiring story resonated with audiences across the world. Tina was no longer just a singer. She was a symbol of strength, resilience, and triumph over adversity. Her live performances became legendary. Tina's energy on stage was unparalleled. She would strut, dance, and sing with a passion that left audiences in awe. Her signature moves, including her iconic high kicks and bold strut, became trademarks of her performances. Tina's influence wasn't limited to music. She became a fashion icon, known for her bold, glamorous style. Her short, spiky hair, leather miniskirts, and sequined outfits became synonymous with her fearless persona. In the mid-1980s, Tina's fame reached new heights with her role in the film Mad Max: Beyond Thunderdome. Playing the character Auntie Entity, Tina delivered a powerful performance that showcased her acting skills and added another dimension to her career. The movie's soundtrack featured her hit "We Don't Need Another Hero," which became another international success. Tina's tours were global events, attracting fans from all walks of life. She broke records, performing in front of massive crowds and selling millions of tickets. Her Break Every Rule World Tour in 1987 was one of the most successful tours of the decade, further cementing her status as a global superstar. But beyond the accolades and achievements, Tina's story inspired people. She represented hope for anyone who had ever faced adversity. Her journey from hardship to triumph resonated deeply, making her more than just an entertainer. She was a beacon of resilience. By the mid-1980s, Tina Turner's career had reached stratospheric heights. The combination of her talent, resilience, and sheer hard work transformed her into one of the most celebrated performers of the era. Her performances were not just concerts. They were events that drew fans by the thousands, eager to witness the unstoppable energy and soul-stirring voice that had become her trademarks. Her Private Dancer album had solidified her comeback, but Tina wasn't content to rest on her laurels. In 1985, she took on one of the most iconic performances of her career at Live Aid, a global concert event held to raise funds for famine relief in Africa. Sharing the stage with Mick Jagger, Tina delivered an electrifying performance that became one of the highlights of the event, cementing her status as a global icon. The late 80s brought even more success with her Break Every Rule album and world tour. Tina's live performances were a spectacle of music, dance, and charisma, drawing audiences of all ages. She broke records with sold-out arenas and stadiums, proving that her appeal was universal. In the 1990s, Tina continued her reign with the release of her autobiography, I, Tina, which detailed her life story with raw honesty. The book was later adapted into the critically acclaimed film, What's Love Got to Do with It?, starring Angela Bassett as Tina. The film introduced a new generation to Tina's story and reinforced her image as a survivor and trailblazer. Her 1993 world tour, What's Love, was another triumph. Tina performed to massive crowds, and her set lists were a celebration of her biggest hits, spanning decades of music. The 1990s also saw her release Wildest Dreams, an album that continued to showcase her vocal range and emotional depth. Tina's ability to evolve with the times while staying true to her unique style kept her at the top of the music industry, and her achievements during these decades are a testament to her unparalleled work ethic and artistry. After escaping the abusive relationship with Ike Turner, Tina Turner spent years rebuilding not only her career but also her personal life. It wasn't an easy journey. For a long time, she was wary of letting anyone get too close, fearing that history might repeat itself. But eventually, love found its way back into her life. In the mid-1980s, Tina met Erwin Bach, a German music executive, at an industry event. Despite their 16-year age difference, the two formed an immediate connection. Erwin was everything Tina had been missing: kind, supportive, and loving. He didn't try to control her or overshadow her. Instead, he stood by her side, offering quiet strength and encouragement. Their relationship grew steadily over the years, and Erwin became an anchor in Tina's life. While she continued to dominate the music industry, Erwin provided her with the stability and peace she had long sought. Together, they built a life that was far removed from the chaos and trauma of her past. In 2013, after nearly 3 decades together, Tina and Erwin got married in a private ceremony in Switzerland where they had been living for years. The wedding was a celebration of their love and a testament to Tina's journey toward happiness and healing. For Tina, this chapter of her life wasn't just about love. It was about reclaiming her joy and finding the balance between her career and her personal well-being. With Erwin by her side, she finally found the stability she deserved. One of the most transformative aspects of Tina Turner's life was her embrace of spirituality, particularly Buddhism. During the darkest periods of her life, Tina found solace and strength in chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, a core practice of Nichiren Buddhism. Introduced to the practice by a friend in the 1970s, Tina initially turned to Buddhism as a way to cope with the overwhelming challenges she faced. At first, chanting felt unfamiliar, but as she continued, she began to notice a profound change within herself. The repetitive nature of the chant brought her clarity and a sense of peace that had been missing from her life for so long. Buddhism taught Tina about resilience, self-worth, and the power of transformation. It became a cornerstone of her personal growth and helped her find her voice not just as an artist, but as a human being. She often spoke about how chanting gave her the strength to leave Ike and rebuild her life. Tina's spiritual journey wasn't just about healing from the past. It was about creating a future filled with positivity and purpose. She credited her practice with giving her the energy and confidence to perform at her best, even during her grueling tours. In later years, Tina became an advocate for Buddhism, sharing her story and encouraging others to find their own path to inner peace. Her spirituality was a guiding light, one that shaped her life and career in profound ways. Tina Turner's impact on the world of music and entertainment is immeasurable. She broke barriers, shattered stereotypes, and redefined what it meant to be a female performer. Her influence can be seen in the countless artists who cite her as an inspiration, from Beyoncé to Janet Jackson and beyond. One of Tina's greatest contributions was her ability to bridge genres. She seamlessly blended rock, soul, R&B, and pop, creating a sound that was uniquely hers. Her voice, raw and powerful, became a defining feature of her music and set her apart from her peers. Tina's live performances set a new standard for what concerts could be. Her energy, charisma, and stage presence were unmatched, and she paved the way for future generations of performers to push the boundaries of what was possible. But Tina's legacy isn't just about her music, it's about her story. Her journey from a small-town girl in Nutbush, Tennessee, to an international superstar is a testament to the power of perseverance and self-belief. She showed the world that it's possible to overcome even the most difficult circumstances and emerge stronger on the other side. Her influence extended beyond the stage, as she became a symbol of resilience, strength, and empowerment. Tina Turner wasn't just an entertainer. She was a trailblazer who changed the game for women in music and proved that success has no age limit. In 2008, Tina Turner announced her final tour, appropriately titled Tina, 50th Anniversary Tour. At the age of 69, she embarked on a global journey to celebrate 5 decades of music and to say goodbye to the stage in the grandest way possible. The tour was a spectacular celebration of Tina's career, featuring all her greatest hits and showcasing her unmatched talent and energy. Audiences were amazed at how Tina, even in her late 60s, could still command the stage with the same fire and passion she had in her youth. Her farewell tour wasn't just about music. It was a chance for Tina to connect with her fans one last time and thank them for their unwavering support. She performed in sold-out arenas around the world, proving that her star power was as strong as ever. When the tour ended in 2009, Tina officially retired from performing. It was a bittersweet moment for her fans, who knew they were witnessing the end of an era. But for Tina, it was a time to step back and enjoy the life she had built, free from the demands of the spotlight. Tina Turner's career is marked by an astounding collection of accolades and achievements. She wasn't just celebrated for her voice and performances. She became a cultural icon whose impact transcended music. Over the years, Tina accumulated numerous awards, including 12 Grammy Awards, with 8 competitive wins and a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. One of her most notable accomplishments was her induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not once, but twice. First in 1991 as part of Ike and Tina Turner, and then in 2021 as a solo artist. These honors recognized not only her contributions to music, but also her ability to reinvent herself and inspire generations of artists. Tina's influence extended beyond music, earning her honors such as a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and prestigious titles like the Kennedy Center Honors in 2005. Her concerts broke records, her albums topped charts, and her story of resilience and triumph resonated globally. Each award she received was a testament to her enduring legacy and the indomitable spirit she brought to everything she did. Tina Turner wasn't just a star, she was a legend. In her later years, Tina Turner faced significant health challenges. Despite her incredible energy on stage, life outside the spotlight brought its own struggles. She battled high blood pressure, kidney issues, and a stroke that temporarily impaired her ability to walk. In 2017, Tina revealed that she had undergone a kidney transplant, with her husband, Erwin Bach, selflessly donating one of his kidneys to save her life. This act of love exemplified the deep bond they shared and highlighted the strength of their relationship. Tina faced these challenges with the same resilience and determination that had defined her entire life. Even as her health declined, she remained a symbol of courage, sharing her journey to inspire others. She often spoke about finding peace and fulfillment in her later years, embracing a quieter life surrounded by love and gratitude. Her health struggles were a reminder of her humanity, a powerful figure who had overcome so much yet faced life's challenges with grace. Tina Turner's legacy is more than just her music. It's the story of a woman who rose from humble beginnings, faced unimaginable hardships, and emerged stronger than ever. Her journey has inspired millions around the world, reminding us all that no matter how difficult life gets, it's possible to rise above and achieve greatness. She became a role model for women, showing them the power of independence and self-belief. Her courage to leave an abusive relationship and rebuild her life resonated deeply, particularly with survivors of domestic violence. Tina's message was clear: you can take control of your life, no matter the obstacles. Her influence can be seen in the artists who followed in her footsteps, from Beyoncé to Rihanna, all of whom credit Tina as a source of inspiration. Beyond the music industry, she inspired people from all walks of life to face their fears, pursue their dreams, and never give up. Tina Turner's story is one of resilience, empowerment, and triumph, a legacy that will continue to inspire generations to come. Even in retirement, Tina Turner's presence looms large in the world of music and entertainment. Her songs continue to be played, her story is shared, and her spirit lives on in the hearts of fans everywhere. She is remembered not just for her incredible talent, but for the way she lived her life, with courage, determination, and an unbreakable will. Tina's influence goes beyond awards and record sales. She changed the way people view success, showing that it's never too late to reinvent yourself and that challenges can be stepping stones to greatness. Her story has been immortalized through books, films, and a Broadway musical, ensuring that her legacy will endure for generations. Tina Turner may no longer grace the stage, but her voice, her energy, and her message will forever echo in the hearts of those who loved her. Thank you so much for watching this tribute to the incredible life and career of Tina Turner. Her story is one of resilience, strength, and unrelenting passion, and we hope it has inspired you as much as it has inspired us. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What did you think of Tina Turner's journey? Which moment from her life resonated with you the most? And most importantly, which artist's story should we cover next? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next deep dive into the lives of legendary artists. Thank you for being part of this journey, and we'll see you in the next video.